Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau's nightmare is over. 2 planes and 36 hours later, he has finally left India. But not without some drama. Trudeau was supposed to leave New Delhi on Sunday. His plane had another plans. A technical snag left him stranded. That same night, Canada sent another jet to New Delhi to pick Trudeau up. But the second jet was also delayed. It was supposed to fly through Rome. Instead, it was diverted to London. So the plane would have arrived only by noon today. Thankfully, it was not needed because Trudeau's team got the primary jet fixed. And wait till you hear how. A technician from Canada flew commercial to India. He brought some parts with him. And with those parts, Trudeau's plane was fixed. Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar was at the airport. He saw the Canadian delegation off. I'm sure there was a visible sigh of relief as the plane took off. Or was there? I ask because this has happened before. Canada's VVIP planes have a sketchy past. It goes all the way back to 1951. Canada's Prime Minister was attending the Commonwealth Conference in France. His plane broke down on the way back. So the Prime Minister was stuck in Iceland. Trudeau himself has had multiple experiences like these. In 2016, he was traveling to Belgium. After flying for half an hour, the plane returned to Ottawa. Why? Because of an issue with the flap. In 2018, there was more trouble. Trudeau's plane was refueling in Rome during his trip to India. Same problem as this time. Some technical snag stranded him for 2 hours. In 2019, there was a third instance. His plane was damaged inside the Air Force hangar. Guess how? Because the plane rolled into the hangar wall. Why does this keep happening? Well, social media says it's karma. But the real reason is old technology. Canada uses 2 Airbus Polaris jets to transport VVIPs. They were bought in the 1980s. Canada's Air Force began using them in the early 1990s. It's not exactly a spring chicken. But Trudeau is not the first leader to face plane troubles. In fact, there is a long list. Like former German Chancellor Angela Merkel, her flight was grounded by multiple issues in 2018. As a result, she was late to the G20 summit. Something about the G20s, I guess. In 1994, South Africa's president Nelson Mandela had a scare. He was flying on a propeller plane. Around 20 minutes before landing, one of the engines failed. Apparently, Mandela was unfazed. He kept reading his newspaper. The pilot somehow managed to perform an emergency landing. Recently, the German foreign minister had plane troubles. She was on a trip to the Pacific last month. The plane made a refueling stop in Abu Dhabi, and that was it. The aircraft developed a mechanical issue. The minister was stuck there for 18 hours, and the trip had to be cancelled. But Trudeau's plane troubles are more than just fate. They've taken a political turn. Yesterday, we told you why. Trudeau got an earful when he met Prime Minister Modi. His handling of Khalistani elements was criticised. The Indian statement spells out what Modi said. But the Canadian statement, well, it doesn't even mention it. So clearly, Trudeau was embarrassed, as he should be. Trudeau met Prime Minister Modi on Sunday, the same day Khalistanis held a referendum in Canada. It was organized by SFJ, that Seeks for Justice. It's a Khalistani outfit. The group is banned here in India, but in Canada it's thriving. Rallies, referendums, you name it. They do all of it. Trudeau and his government are ready to defend them. He was asked about these separatist elements working out of Canada, and this was Trudeau's reply.
Obviously, Canada will always defend freedom of expression, freedom of conscience, freedom of peaceful protest. That's something that's extremely important to us. At the same time as we're always there to prevent violence, to push back against hatred.
Poor old Justin Trudeau, bound by Western values of expression and conscience. Except he isn't. Another Western leader was asked this same question about Khalistani extremism in his country. It was British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Look at his response.
No form of extremism or violence like that is acceptable in the UK, and that's why we are working very closely with the Indian government to particularly tackle PKE, pro-Khalistan extremism. I don't think it's right. Our security minister recently was just in India talking to his counterparts. We have working groups together to share intelligence and information.
One hides behind freedom of expression, another promises zero tolerance. Both are Western leaders. Sunak is not doing anything special here. He's doing what any prime minister should, cracking down on extremism, or at least saying that he will. Trudeau cannot even bring himself to say that. Tells you what his motives are. Not values or freedoms, just pure old politics. Justin Trudeau's opposition has sensed that he is weak. Even on this plane issue, they have been relentless. So what does Trudeau do? He falls back on his Khalistani allies. In fact, let me show you some numbers. These are the results from Canada's general elections, the latest one. Trudeau's party got 32% of the popular vote. The main opposition, they got more than 33% of the vote. But Trudeau has a trump card, his ally called Jagmeet Singh. He's a prominent Khalistani politician. His party got around 17% of the vote in Canada. Without Jagmeet Singh, Justin Trudeau cannot be Prime Minister of Canada, so the equation is pretty obvious. Yet, Trudeau hides behind freedom of expression. It may help him win elections, but it won't win him friends in New Delhi.